There are 50 calories in an apple, 75 calories in one egg, and just over 100 calories for 1 cup of milk. To many, knowing these facts may seem absurd, but to me and countless others, they're secondhand. For those people, we think of food as numbers, which quickly destroy your appearance. This is a disordered mindset that has caused a strain on my relationship with food. I always saw anorexia as this glorified disease, which would truly give me the confirmation that I was skinny. I had rather starve to death than gain a pound, because gaining weight to me felt just as painful. At the age of 7, 1 in 4 children have been reported to start dieting. By the time a child is 5, they've already experienced self-conscious thoughts about their appearance. Ever since I learned to feed myself, I'd been controlling what I ate. As a 13-year-old girl, I fell into the pattern of restricting my food and working out. I was eating enough to sustain an average weight, but I never felt joy when I was eating. I was constantly restricting my food, and this would result in binging or fainting. I had never been able to lose weight until February of 2020, where I really did commit to a very toxic lifestyle, where working out became a means of massing the calories I'd consumed. I recognized the efficiency of running. For only 20 minutes of exercise, I was burning upwards of 200 calories. I'm human. I like the idea of doing less and gaining more. So I slowly started to run. 2 kilometers turned into 3, then 3 kilometers turned into 4, and it just became a part of my daily routine. I ran 5 kilometers every day, rain or shine, busy or not. On top of that, I did 20 minutes of muscle building exercises. And let me tell you, those were the worst, but I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep until I completed them. Along with this, I started restricting my calories to 1,500, then to only 1,000. To put this into context, a toddler is meant to eat a minimum of 1,000 calories a day. Essentially, I was eating as much as a toddler. The scary part is, with every pound I lost, I still felt I looked the same. And it wasn't until I really had to reflect on myself did I realize how much weight I was actually losing. I had lost almost 25 pounds. My lowest weight was 102 pounds, and this is when my body mass index fell below that of an average person for my height. I kept telling myself, 5 more pounds and you'll be beautiful. I had this goal of 105 pounds, but when I got there, I still wasn't satisfied with what I looked like. I was constantly fixated on my weight. When losing weight, you only hear about the good stuff. What you don't hear about is how tired, weak, nauseous, anxious, and irritable you become. When you're so obsessed with your weight, you are constantly thinking about food. From when I'd wake up to when I'd go to bed wishing I could just eat a Big Mac. My body was exhausted, and I was starving myself. Everyone has a bad hair day. Everyone has something they feel self-conscious about. I am just one of many teens who struggles to appeal to society's high expectations. And it wasn't until I started talking about it did I realize most teenagers don't like how they look. Running. I started running for the wrong reasons. I started running to become thin, but as I became so fixated on this idea, I became too unhealthy that I wasn't able to complete my runs. To me, running was a time where I got to think of myself. It was just me, the pavement, and a playlist I'm slightly embarrassed of. It was very difficult to just start eating, and it took me a long time. I was fortunate enough to have my friends and family there to support me. It's kind of ironic because running, the activity which made me once so fixated about my weight, was also the reason that I had to start eating. It was simple. If I wanted to run, I had to fuel my body. Eating what I loved wasn't difficult. It was the thoughts afterwards which were. I was constantly consumed by what I was putting into my body, and I was very mean to myself. We're almost always our worst enemies. There's no one way to stop disordered eating, and on top of that, there's no one way to change a disordered mindset. I might always have a difficult relationship with my body, but that doesn't mean need to impact my relationship with food. When I look at this picture, I'm reminded of how much time I spent fixated on running, how much time I spent restricting my food, and how much time I couldn't spend with my friends. I started running for all the wrong reasons. I thought that if I were thin, I would feel beautiful. But as I became thin, I realized something. What is the point in looking thin if your life is so consumed by this one idea that you can't even live? The truth is, food fuels your body. It tastes amazing, and at least for me, can often coincide with some of my greatest memories. When you have disordered eating, you're constantly fixated on this one idea, and you neglect to realize that the world around you is still moving. Thank you.